Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today's video is going to be another draft previously recorded live at the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. So if you wonder why I'm talking to chat or there's a face cam on screen today, that's what's going on there. But without further ado, let's hop into our next traditional draft of Alchemy Horizons Baldur's Gate. I think we take John Irenicus. It is a gold card, so it's tying us to 2 colors, but this card has seemed pretty strong every time my opponents have played it. Beginning of your end step, draw a card if your library has more cards in it than an opponent. If not, you mill them 5 cards, and then you can start drawing an extra card every turn. Card's been really strong. Gut is really strong too. We could take Gut here. It only ties us to 1 color, and she's quite strong. Having one of our creatures fight an opposing creature. Doesn't even have to be Gut herself. Probably Gut or John. Red Dragon's solid too, but I'm gonna go with John. I haven't played around with John yet. It is tying us into a pretty medium color, but if we take a bunch of cards like Grim Bounty in black, we could even splash in John and not necessarily be playing blue in the core of the deck. You watch a couple streamers that have to switch to best of one because of how long traditional draft takes? That's rough. Yeah, with John as the start, I'm pretty happy to take Grim Bounty as the follow-up, because this ties into our rares color and gives us a potential treasure token to be able to even splash it in and not have to play blue. This pack is really good. The card quality is definitely far up from what we saw last draft. We see Genasi, Rabble-Rouser, Owlbear, Dragon's Fire, and Steadfast Paladin all being sweet. The Gate of the Black Dragon and Gate to the Citadel are great once you know what colors you are, definitely. But for now, I'm going to take Grim Bounty. It's tied with all these other great cards like Rabble-Rouser, Owlbear, Dragon's Fire. And it's on color for us. Ooh, Vampire Spawn, I'm in love with this card. It just fits so well into anything, aggressive or defensive. Just a really nice stat line for the cost, and the life drain is always good. There's also a Rabble-Rouser in here and a Band Together. That's pretty much it for this pack, though. Vampire Spawn, Rabble-Rouser, Bound Together. If you really want to do the dragon thing, you could take Corlessa. Ambition's cost hasn't been as good as I thought it would be. I started the format playing this a lot. It just usually ended up pretty slow. It's just so bad when you're against the aggressive decks. It's a pretty good sideboard card, though, since this is best of 3. Should be good against slower decks, but Vampire Spawn is just good against everything. Thoughts on the Looter? The Looter's pretty okay. Are you talking about the Dragonborn Looter? The 2-mana one? It's very medium. It's one of the better blue cards, but the problem is that blue is just so dry. I never really end up in that color to play it that often. Like Sewer Plague a lot here. Hill Giant Horde Gorger is also great card to ramp into for the green decks. Arcane Archery's been an impressive combat trick, just does a lot. And then a bunch of very medium blue stuff. Allure is really bad, having to bounce your own cards after being attacking. Yeah, too slow. You just really... This format has such a... It's not like every game in this format is lightning fast. Like, as you've seen my previous drafts today, they were pretty slow drafts. The problem is every deck in this format has to be able to get on the ground early, and it has to be able to very efficiently keep up with aggressive red and white strategies, because those things will happen a lot. Those double team decks and stuff. So it's not like every game is over in a blitz, but you really, really have to be prepared for the games that are. And yeah, 2 mana for a 1/2 is not a good body. It's not going to trade very well. And then you have to pay an additional mana to do the looting, so you have to play off curve. You're not playing a 3-drop turn 3. You're not playing a 4-drop turn 4 if you're holding up your looting mana. So then it's really just not doing anything till quite late in the game. So yeah, not in love with it. There's a lot of blue stuff here. Blur's okay in like blue, white. Black only really has like Vampire Spawn. Blue itself doesn't have a lot of good enter the battlefield effects, so I wouldn't really play Blur often. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I have John here, but I'm trying really hard to just splash John off of treasure tokens or mana dorks, so I even think I just take Owlbear here and hope to get like Undercell or Myconids, and we can just be like green-black with a John. Because blue has just been far too slow. Too much of like a catch-up sort of color in the format. And green looks decently open. Null Hunter and Scaled Nurturer are still in here for ramping up into the big old Owlbear Beholder type stuff. Got like Scaled Nurturer over Null Hunter. Get more rampy than aggressive here. Everything in here is pretty mediocre. Line up the shot is nice in best of 3, because then you can like really know when you want this card. It's also okay main deck, because you just cycle it to draw a card every time. We've seen Manticore, Hookor, and Chain Devil in our last deck, and they were all very mediocre. Need some really good combos and synergies with those for them to play well. So now we have Looter, Frost Giant, or Lantern, or Revealing. We pretty much only have blue cards or the Lantern to try to splash them in. Far prefer Myconid to the Lantern if we can pick it up. Might be stuck with the Lantern. I think I'm going to take the Lantern here. Okay, Air Cult Elements is actually a pretty solid blue card. 6 mana, 2/5 flyer, and you bounce a card when you play it. Circle of the Moon Druid's okay in green, but not massively good. Right, we could maybe be the only blue drafter so we can get all our Dragonborn Looter type filler stuff nice and late. Grayslat's fun in green-black. That can be the self-mill color. Definitely don't like Dream Fracture, but you come to a river's fine. I think I'm taking the Slad, though. Another line up the shot. It's a sideboard option. We can get those Invokers last pick. Oh, there it is. It's your boy, Underseller Myconid. Bronze Walrus is also pretty good, but Myconid is just so good. Slowing people down and ramping you up at the same time, getting a Sapperling token when you play it and when it dies, and ramping you up a man of any color. Myconid is beautiful. I'm going to take Myconid over Walrus, but I'd love to wheel the Walrus. That's not likely. It's pretty much impossible that we wheel Myconid because everybody who drafts green picks Myconid highly. Whereas maybe everybody else in the draft pot is really aggressive and they don't want Bronze Walrus. We'll see. I'm going to take the Myconid. I think I'm going to try to be green-black here. Splash blue. Dread Linorm is pretty great. A really nice adventure here that can often turn this into a 2-for-1 where you spend the adventure to kill one of your opponent's creatures out of nowhere, and then of course you have the big late-game card that you're ramping into. Slam down and beat your opponent. Jaheira is really nice too, but Linorm's just really good. But I would take Jaheira pretty highly. If Linorm weren't in here, I'd absolutely scoop up Jaheira. 2 mana, 2/3 at worst, and at best, if your opponent has artifacts and enchantments, you have main deckable artifact and enchantment removal. Green is starting to pan out pretty well now, so I think I do want to try to cut blue to just like the John. Splash it off of Underseller Myconid, Treasure Token here, there, Pilgrim's Eye even. If we could wheel this Pilgrim's Eye, I'd take it, but there's also a Skullport Merch in this pack, which works really well with the Sapperling token you can get off of Underseller Myconid. It's really good by itself, giving you a treasure token to help splash in that John, and with any other treasure production, we're drawing more cards. Skullport Merchant is just the business. If Merchant weren't in here, I think I would take Pilgrim's Eye because I am trying to splash John. If I weren't trying to splash John and Merchant weren't in here, I would easily take Hill Giant Herdgorger. It's another great late-game giant creature that helps you gain some life to get back in the game. Stabilize a bit there. Minotavros, thank you for the follow. And welcome to the stream. Pick 4 doesn't have much of anything for us. We could ramp into this random dork. Play this random dork. Could play Poison the Blade, which I guess works with Sapperling tokens. Blur's not super splashable. Ghost Lantern plays very slowly. Don't really want to play any of these cards. I'll just take a Poison the Blade, I guess, but I'm probably not running it. Sepulchre Ghoul is another 2-drop, so we get another 2-mana creature, so we have more things to block with early game, because currently we have 1 2-drop creature. Archery's solid, but when I get the 2-drop slots all taken care of against those aggressive decks. The bane of the format. I guess I could splash it in Nelfeshni pretty easily, but it's just a 6-mana 4/6 flyer. We don't have enough adventures for this to be copying any spells. You have to be casting spells from exile to do that, which means casting creatures that have gone on an adventure, basically. You could double them up, but we only have the 1 Linorm, so I don't think Nelfeshni does much. That being said, Grace Lad, Thieves' Tools don't do much either, so I'll still take it, because it would just be really funny to be able to splash in Alfeshni. Maybe it'll pan out. Probably not. Druidic Ritual's very filler. Cridle's probably not worth a splash. It's for a more aggressive deck that's trying to get a lot of cheap damage in. Packs are pretty dry. Packs are like fine for white. There's like Dust Guard still in. I don't know. I'll toss a Cridle to the right. There's nothing much here. Yep, nothing much at all. Just take a Sigil that I'm probably not playing. I'll take a Null Hunter, another 2-drop creature. We already have 2 copies of You Line Up the Shot, and as I said, I'm always looking for at least like 5 2-mana creatures. 2 mana or less. Circled Land Druid is okay in this color pair, because we could get some of those Reanimator spells in black. These are all pretty filler. Slap one in the side, slap another in the side. I don't think it's a Manticore deck. We could just use Double Beholder. Not the greatest thing to ramp into, but if we have nothing else to ramp into, then there you go. Alright, and we've opened up a beautiful, rare 2-mana dork. Not a mana dork, but a 2-mana creature. 2-mana 2/2 Death Touch specializes for 2. Discard a card. Flip this into whatever color the card you discarded is. You get a 4/4 Death Touch Lifelinker. Or a 4/4 that can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less that keeps getting bigger. Shadowheart's definitely the pick. The card's absurd. If Shadowheart weren't in here, Draconic Mirrorless is actually really sweet with like Dread Linorm. It's just a 4-mana 4/3 that if it ever trades off, you draw a very good card. So I do like that card, but it's got to be Shadowheart. Wow, now it's got to be Intellect Devourer. 4-mana 2/4 when it enters the battlefield, each opponent exiles a card from their hand until it leaves the battlefield, and you can play lands and cast spells from among the cards exiled with it, using your mana as though it were mana of any color. Oh, there's Viconia too. What deck is Manticore playable in? My last deck. I just needed more flyers, so I ended up even siding in multiple Manticores. It's not good, but it was in my 3-0 deck last round. Fills its role. I'm going to take Devourer over Viconia. There's no way Viconia is coming back, though, but there's no way Devourer would come back. Sad day there. Take another Linorm here. Pretty happy with that. We only have Grim Bounty and Sewer Plague for removal, so we have 2 removal spells, so I'm passing up on another Sewer Plague to do that. 3rd removal spell or 2nd Dread Linorm. There's also Scaled Nurturer. What deck was that you just tuned in? It was a black-white deck with kind of just like a lot of removal. Had a lot of like Horde Robbers in the cheap slot, so Horde Robbers would just always try to attack in, like threatening some kind of trick to get a treasure, and then often our opponents would just be like, alright, whatever, I'm just going to block, and then you could like Manticore. I don't know. Manticore, honestly, primarily was just for just being a 4-mana 2/1 flyer we could play at instant speed. Wow, we get the payoff here. I did take a Linorm over removal spell, and now we just get another great removal spell, a removal spell that lets us get the blue source for John. Grim Bounty it is. Hard choices in this last pack. We're just seeing everything that we wanted to be in pack 2 and pack 3. And it's all clumped together in the same packs. Like I want Linorm and Grim Bounty and Jaheira in this deck, but I can only take one of them, and I only have 2 removal spells right now, so I'm going to take Grim Bounty. Boneclaw Clark's fun in the color pair. Ghouls is kind of just a stronger card in general, but not really in this color pair. Here we got Linorms and Beholders that could go in grave. I'll take a Boneclaw Cleric. This just turns into a 2-drop that you just play it on turn 2, and it's fine. A 2-mana 2/1's not great, but then it's very relevant as a top deck later in the game in a deck like this, so I like that a lot. Stroke of Luck isn't horrible. It's Impulse. 2 mana, look at the top 4 cards of your deck, put 1 into your hand. We only have 3 non-creatures right now, but I guess we have 2 Line Up the Shots we can play. Maybe I take this just because we don't have a lot of non-creatures. It's random little draw spell. Makes us lose life, though. I don't love that. I'm going to take Inspiring Bard. Our deck is slow enough as is in general. Now we take Hill Giant Herd Gorger, another great card to ramp into. Now I can cut the Double Beholder and just ramp into Linworms and the Hill Giant Herd Gorger. Grave Choice is a beautiful pickup. This is so good against the aggro decks. You make them sacrifice their 2-mana double teamer and you put it into your hand. Obviously, it's not ideal. Your opponent gets to pick what they sack, but this card has really high upside in the right games. Tempted to cut that here. Ettercap is really solid sideboard material against a deck with a lot of flyers, and Poison the Blade and Ghost Lantern aren't really cutting it. Neither is Lantern of Revealing. Well, don't love Eyes of the Beholder, but I can play it here. 23rd card. Another Null Hunter. Okay, so I think I could probably cut the Circle of the Land Druid because we didn't actually end up with Graveyard Recursion outside of the one Bonecaller Cleric. And then we probably cut one line up the shot and just run an 18 lander here because we got 2 6s and 2 7s. This could definitely be an 18 lander even with Mana Dorks. Yeah. We really have a lot of sideboard tools to play around with. Because if we cut one, you line up the shot, then we have multiples we could put in if we need them. We have Poison the Blade. Our opponent has a bunch of really big stuff, I guess. Ettercap if they have a lot of flyers. If they have enchantments, we got Double Beholder. Quite a list of sideboard options. How many ways do we have to cast John right now? Is it even worth trying to play John? We have Underseller Myconid tapping for a mana for John. We have double Grim Bounty giving us a treasure. We have one Skullport Merchant giving us a treasure. And that is it. So 3 treasure producers and 1 mana dork. And at that rate, we probably have to play 1 island as well. I think this deck has gas without John. Herdgorger, Owlbear, Double Linworm. It's got cards to close out the game, even early game potentially with Shadowheart. Might not actually have to do the John Splash. And we could just use all of our treasure tokens for Skullport value if we ever draw it. Or just to cheat in one of these things early. I don't know if that's right, but definitely not as big a fan of splashing as most players. I tend to stop splashing pretty early. Or I just don't do it if I have a lot of really consistent ways to do it. So we could cut that for the 18th land here, or we could put in another non-land. John is probably better than like a second copy of You Line Up the Shot. Probably just like cut one of those and put John back in and just have dreams. Have hopes and dreams today. Yeah, we're gonna have hopes and dreams today and see how it works out for us. 17 lands right now. 12 black, 10 green, 1 blue, so slightly more black than green. Yeah, that looks correct. All right. This is the John deck. The green-black John. Golgari John. Our best buddy. We're going for it. We have 1 island, 2 Grim Bounties, 1 Skullport Merchant, and 1 Underseller Myconid. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue sources for our 1 blue card. However, I am going to be using those treasures a lot for other cards. So I could just self-inflict wounds where I'm just like, alright, I'm going to use this treasure to play Owlbear on turn 4 and then draw John a turn late. I foresee that happening a lot. I'll have to keep that in mind. Yeah, see how it does here. Final draft of the day. Oh, that is true. You can discard the island for Specialize. Actually have access to the blue version of Shadowheart every now and then. I have never seen the blue version of Shadowheart in my life. So I'll have to read that and see what they do. I think it's that they draw you an extra card if you lose life during your turn. And they're a 4/4. And as with all the other versions, they do damage to each player every end step. I think that's what it is. Monocolored. We're an 18-land deck, and we're on the draw, so we're pretty likely to hit lands. And if we hit a single one, we have Merchant and Vampire Spawn. I'm going to keep. Might be a little bold, but I am going to keep. On the draw here. Turn 1 Steadfast Unicorn. I'm scared. A little scared. Not that scared. We don't have the slowest hand our deck is capable of. Playing against white-black. Unicorn turn 1, Sepulchre Ghoul turn 2. Pretty great aggro start from our opponent. Alright, no turn 3 play at least. Could have been a Merchant so I can draw a card next turn. Hey Florida Man, how's it going? How do you feel about main decking Ettercap over the lineup? Do you value the cantrip over the long-term body? They're both pretty equal. I don't value the... Oh wow, that's rough. I don't value the... I probably don't value the Ettercap highly enough, because it is pretty high on like 17 lands, isn't it? But yeah, I just really like having like one piece of main deckable artifact and enchantment removal. And you just cantrip it away when there's no artifacts enchantments. I think I'm just running one Line Up the Shot. I don't know. I've just been a fan of the one copy of Line Up the Shot in most decks. They can sack Pilgrim's Eye to kill my Merchant if I block here. Yeah, they're very close. Ooh. Ooh. I'm tempted. They have 29 cards, we have 29 cards. So we just mill them 5? We don't draw a card immediately. I think I just do it. You get another treasure off this Grim Bounty later. For the next thing. I wish that it would be the draw one. If it were the draw one in the end step, that would have been the easiest, just slam down John, but we have to mill 5, then we'll start drawing an extra each turn. Oh my god. If Raphael splashed in, if Intellect Devourer off of their black, main deck Guardian Naga, so slower curve than your general white-black aggro deck. We've got the Grim Bounty for John, so we've drawn 0 off of our John. Sadness. Sadness. Send those in, we take 3. Yikes. Still don't think there's nothing to... I still don't think there's anything to Grim Bounty. I guess we'll have to Grim Bounty this unicorn soon enough. Could start double buffing their board, giving it vigilance and attacking in even against our current board state. Tempted to keep this island for our specialize if we draw into it, but it does help cast Linorm. Doesn't help cast Herd Gorger. We need 2 green sources for that. I'm gonna play the island. Get us closer to casting Dread Linorm. We're at 5 mana now. We need 2 more lands, one of them being green. Might have to... Well, we'll see how they attack here. I was going to say I might have to eventually just throw Merchant under the Ghoul. So if I throw Merchant under the Ghoul here, they have the mana to use Steadfast Unicorn only once, so I can't throw Vampire Spawn under the Ghoul, or they can kill my Vampire Spawn without even sacrificing to Sepulchre Ghoul. If they don't attack with Ghoul at all, that makes it nice and easy. I just don't block, because I don't have a flyer. Okay, taking one from the Pilgrim's Eye. Morden's Disciples. That is probably the Grim Bounty target. Unfortunately, our opponent can sacrifice the Ghoul in response, so we don't get the treasure. So I'm going to play the Forest first, so our opponent knows we're doing good on mana, and hopefully we're like, oh, they don't need the treasure, whatever. But they'll probably sack it in response, because they get rid of my treasure token that way, and I don't get to draw the card off Skullport Merchant, nor do I get the mana I need for Herd Gorger. Yep, sack in response it is. I guess I could have killed Ghoul to guaranteed get the treasure, but then Morden's Disciples just starts going wild, and we can't let that happen. Pretty far on the back foot here if we don't hit our second green source. But if we do, we're doing what the green decks do, and we're stabilizing with some big stuff on board. But yeah, we need that second green source like now, or the Unicorn's taking it. Just taking the game over. Block with Merchant here, we force them to sack the treasure to kill the Merchant. Okay, if they attack with Unicorn, we can block Merchant on Unicorn. And then I guess we could chump the Ghoul and sack the Vampire Spawn to draw a card, because Vampire Spawn's not really blocking well anytime in the future anyway. We can single trade with these things. Just 1-for-1 trade into those later. Ooh, Sewer Plague. That is beautiful. Get this freaking Unicorn out of here. The Shambling Gas, nice and small. Ooh, yes, that is what I'm on about. Okay. Now we are really feeling like the stabilize here. I think I Sewer Plague the Unicorn and just hold up Dread Linorm's Adventure, so I can block everything they have on ground and not lose a creature. And then I cast Linorm next turn. I mean, we definitely have to kill Unicorn, because that's giving their whole board +2/+2 vigilance each turn at this point. So they can sack it to Sepulchre Ghoul, so it won't have the perpetual -2/2. That way if they get any graveyard recursion, they can actually replay it. They're not going to sack it to Ghoul, though. Play around some other -2/2 trick or something. I don't know. But they could very well just not have graveyard recursion anyway. where that doesn't matter. Deadly Dispute. That's a pretty good draw there. It's going to give them 2 cards and immediately replace the treasure token they sacked for it. Wow. And 2 Demogorgon's Clutches off the top. So we have to use our adventure right now so that we don't discard the Linnorm, but we have to discard Herd Gorger. That was a very good draw step for our opponent. Hit us for 1 with Pilgrim's Eye. Down to 10. Draw for turn. Shadowheart's interesting, but Linnorm is definitely better first. Play Shadowheart next turn and maybe have the land to specialize her. Linnorm kills them in 3 attacks. Can't block our merchant well. Could send in for some damage here. Linnorm is stopping everything the merchant would stop. If they have a removal for Linnorm, we're just taking like 5. Alright, take 1 down to 9. They play land for turn. We draw Grim Bounty. Makes me not want to play Shadowheart because I'm not specializing Shadowheart. I can Grim Bounty here and draw a card if I kill Sepulchre Ghoul. Draw a card off Merchant. I feel like that's what I want to do. Because if I target the Pilgrim's Eye, they just sacrifice it. Just see what Linnorm does first. Linnorm just hits for 7. Okay, Grim Bounty on the Ghoul. Guess I probably should have sent it the 3/6 as well. Because then I'd be threatening for lethal next turn, but I'm still threatening for lethal next turn because I can play Shadowheart and make them lose a life in the end step. Alright, there's the forest to discard to Shadowheart, so we can flip Shadowheart. Ambition's Cost, well now I'm just straight lethal on board if they didn't draw removal. Don't even need to play the Shadowheart. Draw 3, lose 3, they're at 5 now. Can they block Linnorm? Can they blow up Linnorm? They can play Baleful Beholder, which can block Dread Linnorm. Does let them live another turn. And it'll trade for Dread Linnorm, and then we have to try to kill them with Shadowheart. Shadowheart can very much kill them, though. I think we attack both, because they're forced to have Linnorm block Beholder, and then maybe we put them to 2, or we kill the Ghast. Okay, put them to 2. Here's Shadowheart to block their Ghast, as well as threaten lethal unblockably next turn, just like Linnorm was doing. Okay, they're at 1 life with nothing that can block Shadowheart, and if they don't kill us this turn, Shadowheart even just kills them in the end step anyway. There's a Sepulchre Ghoul. That can block Shadowheart because they can sacrifice a creature and block as a 4/4. But again, Shadowheart will do the final damage in the end step. So we just pass through our turn. Go straight to the end step. Because if we attack and they sack Ghast, give Shadowheart -1/-1. And block with a 4/4 and then Shadowheart dies. So we actually don't kill them if we attack with Shadowheart. They can find a way to survive, but if we just pass turn, unless they have life gain in hand, they cannot find a way to survive. But yeah, even if I attack both, they use Ghast to block Merchant. And, oh wait, no, I guess that wouldn't work. I could attack both, and that would have been lethal. Because now that I think of it, they can't block with Ghoul until they've sacrificed Ghast. They could have blocked, sacrificed Pilgrim's Eye and blocked there. Wow. That is a problem. Game's going pretty well tonight. We're 2-1 and then 3-0. This is our 3rd draft. This is our first game here. I think I just lost now. But I lose no matter what I do there. If I went for the all attack instead, they would have Ghoul sacrifice Pilgrim to block Shadowheart, and Shambling Ghast would block the Merchant. Then they kill us with these 2/2s because we're tapped out. We can't block anything. So yeah, there was not a correct line there. We died to Sune's intervention either way. Rough. Right, they all attack here. We go block, block, take 5. Take 4, I guess. And they've drawn Minimus Containment. Guess we draw the card off of this. Alright, didn't draw any instant speed removal, so we are dead. Yeah, I mean, I guess if we didn't Grim Bounty that Ghoul earlier, if we went for, like, Pilgrim's Eye instead, then, they would sack Pilgrim's Eye in response. We would have drawn, like, way slower, so we would have had Shadowheart much later. I think we still just lose to Sune's intervention because we don't exactly, like, aggro them out quick enough or anything. Because we would have drawn the thing a turn later. Just saying, hold it, winning the race with Linorm. That is true. I don't know, that was like the only place I get the 2-for-1 value is why I wanted to do that. Oh yeah, that was before they ripped the Beholder to block Linorm. Yeah, that's fair. Linorm could have got there. Put Ettercap in here. Line up the shot seems fine. Actually, it seems pretty good. It can kill their flyers and it can kill their Minimus Containment. I actually don't really like John. I feel like the John Splash might not be where it's at. Drop Island John here and just play 17. Cycle these for mana if we're stuck. The Holder's fine. We can blow up containments with that. Yeah, I think it's kind of close, but I think you are correct. You're 100% correct in retrospect, like if we know exactly what they're drawing, but I think even without the knowledge of what they're drawing, that's true. If they draw something to block Linorm, being able to blow that up is pretty important. I was more concerned with them drawing removal, but I wasn't taking into account that even like white, black, red decks do have 4/4s and 5/5s they can play on occasion. Just so used to the really aggro decks, I was figuring any creature they draw just doesn't block Linorm anyway. But I forgot about Baleful Beholder, and it got me bad. Alright. I think I dropped the blue splash. We put in another line up the shot. Cut a land. Definitely play first. Definitely keep this hand. This is beautiful. Turn 2 Null Hunter is the goodness. Mr. Wazam, thank you for the follow. There's a mulligan from our opponent to start it off. All right. Land for turn, pass. They go Swamp, Shambling Ghast. Obnoxious. Null Hunter does not get any attacks in then. Soldiers of the Watch. Wow, this is a very good start from our opponent. Even on the draw, that is threatening. Kind of want to just mic it here. Just kind of obnoxious. Get my 1/1 to block those soldiers all day. They play Sepulchre Ghoul here so they can sack the ghast, kill the 1/1. It'd be very sad. Alright, double team with Soldiers of the Watch. We'll trade the Sapperling in there. And Soldiers of the Watch number 2 is the play. We've got a Grave Choice. That is interesting here. We have 5 mana to play around with. I'm definitely not Grim Bountying. I'm either using Linorm's Adventure or casting Grave Choice. I'm gonna get pretty greedy here and just try to get a Linorm attack. And we get the Linorm attack. Just makes it nice and easy because we get to use the adventure during our turn while they're tapped out, so we don't have to worry about them having instant speed interaction. That's something I'm always worried about with this adventure, is if we use this first, if we use this before they use removal, and then they respond with instant speed removal, we've just lost our adventure and our Linorm. So I do really like finding any opportunity to use that while they're tapped out. Well, it's still stuck on mana here. Attack with a 4/4, I guess they sack Shambling Ghast. We get them with Grave Choice if they try to do that. If they don't try to do that, we just play a Vampire Spawn. This Grave Choice is going to hit really hard if they try to block with Ghoul and sack Ghast here. Okay, they don't. So I was going to say then I just get to go Grave Choice them to make them sacrifice their only creature left, which is their Sepulchre Ghoul, and then we have the 2 mana left to just cast their own Sepulchre Ghoul against them. Alright, big old board state while they're stuck on mana here. There's the 3rd mana from our opponent. What is this? Another Sepulchre Ghoul it is. Grave Choice definitely worse now. It's still pretty good. If I hit a land and I go Grim Bounty on a Ghoul, and then they don't sack the Ghoul in response, then I'm still holding up Grave Choice. Didn't draw land. I do have double Grim Bounty, though. I have double Grim Bounty Grave Choice. Are we on the Grave Choice plan? Because whatever they sacrifice, we get to play against them. We'll lose a creature if we go for that plan. Like, guaranteed. They're going to kill one of these Null Hunters at least. Because we don't choose what they sacrifice. Combat can go so many different ways depending on how I attack. Where I don't know if Grave Choice ruins their day or not. I guess if they sack Ghast and try to kill Vampire Spawn or whatever, that just happens. Only one of these ghouls gets to be a 4/4. And that's by sacking Shambling Ghast. I feel like I just attack all. But not the Myconid. Like, I can lose one of these dorks to get them to pop Shambling Ghast. And then we steal one of their Sepulchre Ghouls, use it against them. Should be pretty hard to lose 2 creatures here with Grave Choice in hand. Okay, so they block like that. Allow it. Use Shambling Ghast's ability. Then give this Vampire Spawn -1/-1. And then that Sepulchre Ghoul gets +2/+2. So we grave choice them, and they get to keep one ghoul and kill one of our creatures. And then we play their own ghoul against them. So they keep the ghoul that's on Null Hunter, so they can kill our bigger creature that way. They sack the smaller ghoul. Cool. Alright, and we still have double Grim Bounty for the next creatures. We have a Null Hunter that's become a 5/5 by now. It's got 3 +1/+1 counters on it. Null Hunter's just going to town. Pilgrim's Eye is the play that can sacrifice itself to their Sepulchre Ghoul, make the Ghoul a 4/4 blocker again to block Vampire Spawn. So I think we shoot their Ghoul and attack all. This Ghoul is stopping a lot of damage here. Shadowheart is the draw, though. Could still play Shadowheart if I don't attack with Myconid. So let's do that. No Tears Blessing, please. No Blessed Hippogriff. Let me attack in with everybody. They do have Blessed Hippogriff. Rough. It's indestructible now, so there's no point in attacking. Unless I want something to trade into their Pilgrim's Eye. Probably just play Shadowheart. Yeah. Play Shadowheart, pass. It's going to put them to 13, so we can specialize Shadowheart next turn. Thanks to the end step trigger, so we definitely want Shadowheart out this turn. Trigger the flipping. Sudoku, thank you for the 20 Corgi bits. The absolutely adorable bits. That is a good doggo. Intellect Devourer for our Grim Bounty. Ruin my day, why don't you, opponent? Ow. Now they have another gas for their ghoul. That's a nuts Intellect Devourer play. We can line up the shots. Which does not really do anything. We can flip Shadowheart and force the ghoul to block Shadowheart here. Next turn they're going to Grim Bounty, Shadowheart, or our Giant Null Hunter. Yeah, I think I'm flipping this thing. If they sack Shambling Ghast to Sepulchre Ghoul, they turn Vampire Spawn into a 1/2 and Intellect Devourer kills it. They could block Sepulchre Ghoul on Intellect Devourer and then have Shambling Ghast give the Ghoul -1/-1, then I'd have to sack a creature to keep it on board, so that also feels bad. I feel like I attack with just these two. The only way they block Shadowheart is if they sack a creature and block with Ghoul, so we're probably hitting for 4 there. And then Null Hunter, I guess, is probably just getting chump blocked. They could block Null Hunter with a 4/4 Sepulchre Ghoul and a 2/4 Intellect Devourer, I guess. Too late to block the Shadowheart, now they went to blocks. So Shadowheart is definitely hitting for 4. So they're probably planning to Grim Bounty Shadowheart next turn. Which means if they want to kill Null Hunter, they're going to have to go for a big block on it here to get rid of my main threat. I guess if we kill Intellect Devourer, they don't get Grim Bounty, so they'd have to block Null Hunter with Ghoul, Pilgrim's Eye, and sack Shambling Gas to -1/-1 the Null Hunter. And then we kill all that stuff, because it's still a 5/5 to kill Ghoul and Pilgrim's Eye. Yeah, that's the play. They have to keep Intellect Devourer to keep their Grim Bounty. -1/-1 the Null Hunter. That's 5 power and toughness versus 5 power and toughness. Kill those two, and we hit for 4, and then they Grim Bounty Shadowheart, and they're down to just a 2/4 on their board. And they're at 9 life. Alright. We sack Shadowheart in response to their Grim Bounty. Yeah, not bad. Things are looking okay here. Can't really close out the game super well, but they're very low on life, so just chipping in for that extra 2 damage per turn we're gonna get is good. By attacking with Ghoul Vampire Spawn here. Just block one of them and take 2. I guess they block Ghoul and then I kill Intellect Devourer. Okay, no, block Vampire Spawn, take 2 it is. I have 6 mana if I play this land, so I think it's better to just hit for 2 than it is to sack the Myconid, because then if I hit a land next turn I'm playing Linnorm. Again, I could sack the Myconid though and hit for 4, put them to 4 life, and then have a Saproling token. Seems worse though, with Linnorm on the adventure. Just gonna pass turn, hold up a bunch of instants. I don't appreciate that. Don't like that at all. Line up the shots. Oh, we're definitely not playing Linnorm this turn then. That's the one thing that's for sure. Probably just drawing the card off of that. I guess we get Plummet to kill Hippogriff. Let's see what kind of trick our opponent's doing here. Probably trading a combat trick into one of our creatures. They're going to go for the block on Sepulchre Ghoul. That actually makes me want to sack Myconid so badly. His Spawn still gets in for damage. It must be Dragon's Fire in their hand here. So we sack Myconid and then they Dragonfire Ghoul in response. Is that the plan? That way they get to use Dragon's Fire to kill 2 of our creatures instead of just 1? Dragon's Fire kills both of our creatures either way now. If I sack Myconid, they Dragon's Fire Ghoul. If I sack Spawn, they Dragon's Fire Ghoul. If I sack nothing, they kill Ghoul and then Dragon's Fire the 2/3. If I don't sack, they're killing 2 anyway? Yeah, with Dragon's Fire. Yeah. Yeah, if it is Dragon's Fire, they kill 2 either way, so we sack. Alright, no Dragon's Fire. Okay. Manticore. Alright then. Manticore will do it. Is it better to draw a card off of this line up the shot to try to hit a land, or is it better to kill their Hippogriff or Manticore? Genuinely don't know. Guess it depends if they attack here. If they attack and then play Hippogriff, it's definitely better to just blow up Hippogriff, because then we hit for 1 even if we don't hit a land. Alright, Hippogriff. Humiliate the Myconid. Well, I can make it stay on board, but I can't make it keep tapping for mana. It's so dang close, but I think it's better to just plummet here and keep a 1/2 with no abilities on the board now. At least I hit them once with it. Oh, I hit them once with it for 3 damage. Inspiring Bard. The sick draw. The absolute sickness. They're dead to 1 swing from Inspiring Bard if that touches them. Humiliation is so good that I can like have the plummet to like counter the humiliation, but it like still turns off all my abilities. Guardian Naga. Oh dear. Oh dear. We would have the mana for that if Myconid had still had abilities. If Myconid had still had text. Sad day. Alright. I'm still at 18 life. I can take a couple hits from Naga first. There's the land. Here's the eyes. We get to attack here. Force a chump rather than... Well, I guess, yeah, it's already force a chump either way, so we'll get 1 damage in this way. They chump, take 1, go to 2. Okay. Alright, that's GG, 1-1. Heading into game 3 of the first round. Best of 3 drafts can take a while. I like the non-blue version of this deck for sure. I think I run it back here. That was definitely a game where an 18 to land would have been handy to get to that Linorm. So maybe we still keep the 18 land count even if we're not in blue. Usually that's when opponent drops the triple white and X rare. That card's absurd, yeah. We know they have Manticore now, and Patriarch's Humiliation and Tears Blessing. A lot of tricks we didn't see in the past. Put those on a notepad real quick. Wisey Gaming, thank you very much for the follow, and welcome to the stream. Or welcome to the stream crew. You've been on the stream a while, but now you're part of the crew. Whatever it's called. I'm not a professional streamer. I don't have the good call-outs down. Okay, so there's Humiliation, Tears Blessing, and Banishing Coils, but we have nothing to worry about with Banishing Coils. We have no enchantments or artifacts. Alright. Just listing their instance and heading into game 3. Tears Blessing and Patriarch's Humiliation and Manticore are the big ones that could be played around. We're on the draw here, so I'm going to keep this. We have Null Hunter and Bonecaller Cleric, for sure. Any lands get us to Vampire Spawn, and flooding out is fine. So we've got 5 drops and 6 drops. Definitely like Ettercap in this matchup. They had Manticore, Blessed Hippogriff, and Pilgrim's Eye. Obviously, web-shotting a Pilgrim's Eye is not the craziest thing ever, but it's still getting your 2-for-1 value, even if it's just killing a 1-1. 10 minutes on the clock for them, so if the game goes really long, we win on clock. They AFK. I guess we're on the play now. Our opponent might have lost connection or something. If that is the case, hopefully they will file for reimbursement with Wizards, because they're usually pretty good about that. I'll just give you your gems back if you lose a match to disconnecting. It looks like we might not have a game 3 here. Yeah, the rope is back. The silent rope. Arena doesn't play the rope sound anymore. If they keep on printing gems, though, we're going to see gemflation come to Arena. Magic Arena gem inflation. Alright, skipped through their second turn now, auto-discarded a Plains. If our opponent comes back now and wins this game, then I think I'll have to just cut the stream right there. Opponent skips 2 turns and then still beats us. I have to revoke my streamer card. Give it away. Alright, rope number 3 has arrived. Again, the silent rope. This arena's sound is being weird. All of the audio is being weird today. Streamlabs is all messed up. The whole chat box thing wasn't working. And then none of the Streamlabs alerts are sounding for me. And then arena audio being weird isn't a new thing, though. Arena audio has been weird for months. Alright, third rope is the auto scoop. So, not a great way to end that match. It does not feel like we earned a match victory there. But we did get a match victory, so even if we didn't earn it, at least we know we're not gonna 0-3 with this deck. Speaking of that matchup, speaking of 0-3ing, I'm really not feeling the John Splash. Really not feeling it. I feel like I kind of want to just do what I did in that game and just cut John in an island for like the Etter cap and the second line up the shot. Maybe a land over the second line up the shot would actually be fine. 18 land build still feels okay with the double Dreadlin Orm because those are so big high impact late game plays. We're changing the name. Changing the name to I'm Sorry, John. Because I'm not playing John anymore. I think I like this build better as the upfront. We can do it the other way around, though. We could side in John and they won't know what's happening. They'll be like, where'd this island come from? What's going on? John Irenicus. That's what's going on. I need to get some more water. My throat is dead today. Hopefully... Oh, never mind. Say hopefully Arena takes a moment to find our match. Spoiler alert, it didn't. We're in our next round. Opponent goes first. Alright, here's how it's going to work. Opponent's going to play a 2-drop and I'm going to grave choice it. We're going to get full value and the flood will be irrelevant because I've gotten such great value from my grave choice. Okay, well, 2 lands in a row after this keep is making me a little scared. Ooh. Probably doing this wrong. I was probably supposed to just grave choice immediately. But there are 2 competing things that get me all kinds of excited. I'm always excited about a grave choice where I can get a card. I'm also always excited about a Dreadlin Orm adventure being available. I'm just gonna do everything wrong. That's what I'm gonna do. No cast down. 1 time. No cast down. Nom 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 nom. Gray Slad, that's a 3-mana creature. I can't get that in my hand. But I can smack my opponent in the face for 6. How's it going, Clayton? We like to see the what? I hope that's in reference to the loose plays here. I don't know between Grave Choice and Linnorm what I want to do. Yeah, whatever. Bard it up, smack for 6, or kill the Gray Slad. Smack for 6 it is, they're down to 10. I'll make the arena sound effects for you. There you go. That's the 6 damage sound effect that didn't sound. Moradin's Disciples. Oh, they are going to choose to sacrifice that Gray Slad. That is for sure. And then I attack for 7 and they just don't block. Sack the Disciples, alright. They want to make sure they can block Inspiring Bard and kill it. So I'll attack with just the 4/5 and hit for 4. And drop a Ghulio. Yeah, I feel like they probably just like keep trying to fix the audio bug and it's just not working every time. We have one main deck to line up the shot, so we could get out of that Minimus Containment. After they get default basic lands, then we'll get the the thing we were just talking about. The fix to the audio bug. There we go. My brain doesn't work. If I line up the shot here, I'm attacking with a 4/5. They can double block and everything. I think I just play Linnorm first and line up the shot next turn. Actually kind of okay with Inspiring Bard trading for the Slad. Now, because that's the only thing they have on board that can block Linnorm. So this means they probably have removal for Linnorm, or they probably wouldn't have done that. I guess they gain 2 and they're at 8 life, so they don't die to 1 swing from this thing. I am not going to get Manticored. Hook Horror. That can't block this, can it? No, it can't. Okay, so line up the shot finds lethal. Pick up a Naturalize. We're attacking with 3 creatures. They can't block the Linnorm, and one of the other 2 gets in for the lethal. One and 0 to start off round 2. Main deck, you line up the shot, coming in hot against the Minimus Containment. So not much to say about their deck there, not much to see about their deck there. They were just on the back foot there, mana screwed for a little while. Bonecaller Cleric, Moradin's Disciples, Gray Slad, Minimus Containment. Steadfast Paladin and Hook Horror. I like 1 you line up the shot. I don't know if a second would be any better. We didn't see any flyers from them. Maybe I play another you line up the shot over an Ettercap here. Because we know they've got Minimus Containment. Could be a little tempted to cut it though, since they saw our line up the shot. Honestly, very chill, just running it back again. And opponent, probably the same. Some pretty quick sideboarding decisions from them. Alright, double Null Hunter, the fast game this time. Just gonna get out there with these nulls. Swamp and Plains from our opponent. Soldiers of the Watch, turn 2. Really brutal on the play. If it was on the draw, we would have been on the play and we could grave choice that and just right back at you. Unfortunately, can't do that with our opponent on the play. They get the soldiers to watch value. They're going to try to just pummel us as quickly as possible. Keep us out of this one. Offer the trade of Null Hunter to Nefarious Imp and then drop a 1/4 that can block their 2/1s all day long. They have 4 mana up. Send in for 2 in the sky, down to 16. Drop a soldiers. Drop a Horde Robber. Wow. Skullport Merchant's doing its job at least. It's really holding things off. Grave Choice might be okay in the future. Might be okay right now, but they could just sack Imp. But honestly, them sacking the Imp isn't that bad for us. It's not the most mana efficient thing we could do this turn though. We could play the Null Hunter and draw a card off Merchant. This could be wrong, but I'm going to do that. Alright, Gate of the Black Dragon tapped. They're going to hit us for 2 again. We'll draw a card. Another 2-drop. Alright. Now they can really easily sacrifice the Nefarious Imp to our Grave Choice, because they could still just bring it back with Bonecaller Cleric later. Nurturer. Nurturer, you are not a good draw turn 5. I regret to inform you. At least we can sacrifice the Nurturer to our Merchant. Grave Choice do be feeling really bad here. Shoot Nefarious Imp down, most likely, and then bring it back with Cleric. Maybe we get a Horde Robber in our hand or something. We aren't doing much with it. We aren't doing much with Bard because we're not attacking in. I guess I could Bard up a Null Hunter and attack with both. They'd have Pack Tactics for 6, both get counters here. And we still have a 1/4 and a 3/3 to block, so we're still blocking everything on the ground. It actually seems okay to me, because they just crack back with just the Imp like they've been doing for a long time. Okay, they're going to go for some big blocks here. Defeat the Null Hunter, the smaller one, but the 5/5 gets through. Cool with me. I think I would rather kill the 2/1 than the 1/3. They are down to 13. Scribe 1 card to the top of their library. It's a mountain. Uh-oh. It's another splashed in Raphael. It's the Minimus Containment. It's the Minimus Containment on Skullport Merchant. I've got a 3/3 blocker now though, so they're not getting in. They're just stopping me from drawing extra cards. So this is never getting any better. This is honestly just going to be bad whenever we do it, so here's the Grave Choice. Do kind of whatever you want, opponent. Probably just sack Imp, bring it back with Cleric. Or just sack Horde Robber because they don't really care if we get a Horde Robber. Okay, sack Horde Robber, we get a Horde Robber now, which means we get a 1/3 blocker. Attacking with 2 3/3s on the board, making Null Hunter a 4/4. They could double block our 4/4 with 2 2/1s, and then we hit them for 3 and they have 1 creature left on board. It's the only way they're killing an attacker without an extra spell in hand. Yeah, they go for it. Double block on Null Hunter. Nope. They've taken it back. Full takesies backsies. They're going to go down to 6 here, and let's drop Understellar Myconid because it gives us the most blockers to not die on the crackback if they're trying to do something magical. Most players in Magic the Gathering are trying to do something magical. Alright, just attack with Imp. Take 2 again, we're down to 10. Bonecaller Cleric. There's only a Null Hunter in grave right now, but interesting in the future. I think we attack literally everybody again, because I've got multiple blockers to play. And every single creature here is big enough to trade into theirs. They all have 1 toughness. They're going to trade into the Myconid and chump block the Null Hunter. Go down to 2. Myconid gives us another Saproling. I like Bonecaller Cleric to go really wide here. Just play Cleric and bring back Myconid. Could sack the treasure to put Skullport in grave. That's better. That is true. That is a very smart one. Beginner's Needle. That is a better use of the Cleric. Then we can just draw a card off Merchant here immediately. Second this treasure. Tap out for Eyes of the Beholder, kill Null Hunter. I guess we'll draw the card off of that instead, since it's dead anyway. Line up the shot. Ooh. That can kill the Imp if their plan to survive involves blocking with Imp. Asterion the Decadent. They can do 4 damage to us? We need to get Asterion out of the way. We need to draw a way to deal with that to win here. Otherwise they gain 4 on blocks. Actually, Skullport Merchant can just sack whatever they block, so we're just good. I don't have to do anything fancy. We just do that and then sack whatever they block. They gain 0 life. And that'll be lethal. That is 2 wins now in the final draft of the night, meaning a really great night of drafts no matter what. We are 2-1 in the first round, 3-0 in the middle draft, and now 2-0 so far in the final draft, seeing if we can compete for that 3rd win for another 3-0 draft. Big gyms packs and play-in points as the prize is on the line here. I am going to take another short break. My throat is being mean today. I keep having to refill my water bottle. I drank all of it already, so gotta go refill this water bottle. Another short break here. Great time to grab a drink or a snack, any of that stuff you want to do. And I will be back to finish off this sweet Golgari draft deck very shortly. So I'll see you all in a moment. Alright, I am back. Just messing with the mic a moment. The pop guard kind of fell off a little bit. Get yourself a refillable bottle. No, never. This is my refillable bottle. I just refill these whenever I get them. I really should, but I always forget. So it's just never going to happen. We're never getting a refillable bottle. Where is the face cam button? There we go. There I am. Hello. Final match of the draft. We are 2-0, competing for a 3rd victory, trying to get a 3-0 run here. Well, that's a problem. Well, that's a problem. Lord Tupperware. I'm scared. Ready to lose this match. Lord Tupperware, the MVP. One of the best drafters, one of the best draft content creators. I curve out blockers here rather than nurturer right now. I'm going to be able to block and actually trade this thing off. Nurturer would have gotten me to the Grim Bounty for that giant fire beetles, unfortunately. Don't need Nurturer for Lenorm until turn 6. Or turn 5, because then on turn 6 I could cast Lenorm. I think I'm still curving out the best blockers here. Fire beetles is going off. Take 2, they put another in hand. There's the next one. Got an Etter Cap in hand. Probably playing the Scaled Nurturer here. Vampire Spawn doesn't exactly block Fire Beetles, so might as well hit for 2. Could hit for 4 if I want. Rather get Nurturer down. Pass turn. Still saving Grim Bounty for something potentially bigger than a 2/2 Menace. Like that. I will happily Grim Bounty that. Can Grim Bounty that and have 2 mana up. I don't do anything with the 2 mana though, that's fine. Hit with a Vampire Spawn. Three, 5, 6. We have the mana for Linnorm next turn. Gain a ton of life, start hitting for 7 each turn if they don't have removal big enough to kill it. That is very tempting. I think that is going to be the play for me. Null Hunter's going to attack as a 3/3, I guess. That's uncool. It's very uncool. Thank you for the follow, Javier Vestag. Hope that was somewhere close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. Don't have the mana to play Ettercap and use Linnorm's Adventure, so I'm only doing one thing this turn no matter what. So I honestly feel like it's just hard casting Linnorm and passing. Could use it with a treasure token, so I have 1 more blocker up instead of gaining 2 life. It might be worth it there. So Linnorm's threatening to kill them in 2 attacks. Basilisk Collar, well, no longer the case. Thing gets to attack in freely and gain them 2 life. It's going to take 3 attacks minimum to kill them with this thing. Yeah, that's a really bad time. I think we've just gotten Basilisk Collared out of it here. Play as many blockers as we can. Try to get 3 attacks in with Linnorm. 3 attacks does still kill them. Gain their 2 Fire Beetles life. Drop another Hobgoblin Captain. Drop a Reckless Barbarian, cool. They are still dead in 2 attacks. Don't think there's anything we need to Grim Bounty here, but we are down to 10, so it's possible. I need to do the math here to be safe. So 1 more swing kills them, period. How dead am I if they attack all here? I'm probably just supposed to Grim Bounty regardless, because it's going to lower the amount of damage they do. Just make it less likely they just straight kill me. The only reason that I wouldn't Grim Bounty here is if they're going to immediately drop a creature big enough to block Linnorm next turn. So the crackback is I have 4 blockers. I go block, 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 block. Take 1, 2, 3, 4. They gain 2. I might be punting hard here, but I think I just keep Grim Bounty so they can't like play a Null Hunting Party and block Linnorm to get out of this. Or sack Barbarian to play a 6/6 or a 4/4 or something to block Linnorm and get out. Alright, Lord Tupperware's turn in the think tank here. This turn does matter a lot. The deciding turn. And they scoop them up. Dread Linnorm's going to get in there. Lord Tupperware loses the first game. We're 1-0. Is Lord Tupperware the Lords of Limited or the other podcast? There's Limited Resources, Lords of Limited. There's like a third podcast. I think Lord Tupperware is in one of those. I just listen to Limited Resources mainly. Oh boy, okay, so it's just a bunch of real good creatures. Basilisk Collar 2, so I do like you line up the shot. I did like Ettercap there at 2/5. Lords of Limited. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Lord Tupperware would be a Lord of Limited. That makes a lot of sense. That was dumb of me. All right. I think another you line up the shot would be fine. But honestly, like, we didn't even need to blow up the Basilisk Collar there. But I mean, it would have been fine. In the deck. Is there anything that's just really bad in this matchup? Scaled Nurture didn't feel great. I mean, it gained life off of Linorm, but by the time we cast Linorm, we already had a treasure token we could have cast it with. And the 0/2 body wasn't very good. We definitely wanted to play our other creatures that could actually trade with their early aggro. But I honestly don't know if that is worth... I don't think it's worth the cut, because it's still, like, good ramp. I think I'm just running it back, which I do a lot. All right, opponent on the play. We've got Hunter on 2, Myconid on 3. That's beautiful. This is your saving grace against these aggro decks. Underseller Myconid on 3. It's perfect. This is the first time I've drawn Owlbear. I forgot I even drafted one. Yeah, Owlbear. Let's go. Love me an Owlbear. 4/4 trampler there. Gonna try to get their pack tactics here. We're not blocking well if I play Myconid here, but it does let me get Owlbear out earlier. But yeah, then we're just taking 6 or losing creatures on blocks. I think I have to Sewer Plague just to slow them down. Keep them off of that pack tactics. Ambergris, well, I'm dead. I guess they don't get pack tactics unless they tack with Ambergris, in which case Null Hunter trades in. That's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Snap trade. Take 3 down to 17. We have a Grave Choice in hand. That's pretty beautiful. Play that over Myconid. I think Grave Choice is good against their deck at pretty much any point. Myconid is pretty solid here against this 3/1. So I'm just going to drop that. Warriors of Tiamat. Oh. Oh, no. All right. Snap double block. Trade my my 2 creatures into that, but I get a Saproling back. Now I can Grave Choice to get rid of the Hobgoblin Captain and play it against them to block their 4/2 with this 3/1. If that is what they're spending their mana on next turn. Null Hunting Party, though. Really wanted removal off the top for that. That's a big deal. Well, Owlbear time. Just another land for us. Last turn. Yeah, this Hunting Party is not very groovy. I'll take 4, I guess. Could have blocked with like everybody to kill it, I guess. Now we have a Dread Linorm up. Play a creature, hold up a Linorm. I think I play... Try to out-aggro them here now. Did I have a Linorm? Be pretty ballsy. I at least attack with Owlbear. Maybe I attack with Owlbear and Captain. You know, let's just get ballsy with it. Deal 7. We play a Null Hunter here. Pass the turn. They know for sure we have Linworm now. Guess they get a Faraday's Fireball? Alright, let's just see if we get Faraday's Fireballed. We didn't see it last game, though. Take 4. They have a trick for extra power. They have their own Linworm. Alright. Linworm the Linworm probably gets us. Boneclaw Cleric's a good draw. Their own Linworm. These hunting parties are so good. It's just not beatable. It is beatable. It's just very hard to beat if we don't have the bounty before it attacks. Drop the Linworm. They can only attack us with 1. We chump with a Saproling. Now we have a Linworm down to block things and to threaten to attack. Alright, we'll be trading Linworm for Linworm soon enough. They pass turn. Now we can Skullport Merchant, Scale Nurture, and still have the mana to sack here. Could have a Boneclaw Cleric for Owlbear, but I can leave it behind and possibly Boneclaw Cleric for Linworm later. There's an Owlbear, great stuff. From Lord Tupperware. Send in the Linworm, send in the hunting party. Linworm for Linworm, Saproling on the hunting party, sack the Saproling. Get a land. They play a giant fire beetles. We hit a Grim Bounty for the 6/6 Null Hunting Party, which if I cast it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana up. Not enough to get back a creature with our Boneclaw Cleric. We survive their attacks if we do that. We block their Null Hunting Party with like a 0/2 and sack it. Owlbear, we don't block very well. Don't really feel like I can survive attacks without just getting back a Linworm right now, but I also don't survive those attacks very well even with a Linworm. But we'll try it. Myconid would be solid here, actually. I think it's Linworm. Oh boy. I guess I could have done both there because of Nurturer. Maybe that was the play. Tap Nurturer, Grim Bounty, the Null Hunting Party. That probably was the line. This line is greedier though, and sometimes greed is good. Sometimes greed will get you killed. It may get us killed. Okay. Snap that right there. That right there. Chump block there. Chump block there. We're taking 2. Killing Owlbear and a Warriors of Tiamat. Sack the Scaled Nurturer. So line up the shots. We're down to 4 now. They've got less creatures. There's the fire beetles. Intellect Devourer for their last card in hand, and we still have Grim Bounty mana. And that's another blocker for us. Card is a Valor Singer. 2 blockers. If I attack with Linorm, I still have 2 blockers up, which could block both Knoll Hunting Parties, but then I take 4 from the 2 Fire Beetles. I'm 1 mana away from Grim Bounty and Valor Singer. If I play Valor Singer here, I have 3 blockers up. After attacking with Dread Linorm, I think I just can't attack with Dread Linorm. I have to just Grim Bounty pass, Linorm on Knoll Hunting Party, and double block a giant Fire Beetles, just take 2. No top decks. No top decks. I'm dead on board if I send that Linorm in. No hunting for that's a good one. That is a top deck. Doesn't kill me this turn, but definitely does next turn. Hill Giant Herd Gorger gains me some life and blocks that thing. 8 mana, we can play Herd Gorger and sack a treasure. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Just try desperately to stabilize here. And close to be able to attack with Linorm. If they miss a draw here, we get to attack with Linorm for sure. Next turn. It's a huge draw. And Lord Tupperware scoops it up. It's 2-0 in the final round. Another 3-0 round for us. The big stabilization from that draw. Excellent. Excellent draw for us. Another 2,500 gems, 6 packs, and 2 play-in points. And we took down one of the Lords of Limited with a pretty sweet Golgari ramp deck there. Great last couple drafts there tonight. Great stuff. But that is going to end the stream. I had a really excellent time. Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you for all the bits, the subscriptions, all of the follows, tons of new followers. Lots of support, lots of good chats and stuff. Thank you all very much for being on the stream, for hanging out. I had a very good time.